Well, thank you all very much for showing up to episode. I checked. This is actually episode number 6 now of the council. Um, Calvin is missing today. He has some real life stuff going on, but we have Vancele back. Awesome to see you again, Vancele, along with Tassanex and Sanjita. How are you guys doing? How was your last 3v season? 3v3 season, rather. How did that go?
I kind of hated the season.
Excitement all around.
I kind of hated it. I don't know why, but like I came like within a razor thin margin of my first losing season. I think since set 4 with Lord Vader and Dodge, when I didn't have Lord Vader, and I barely won. I had to outscore 2076 score in my very last match, and I got like 2080 barely with a lot of close calls. So it was a rough season. Like one guy at least I played just completely saw me coming, set up a perfect Sith Eternal Emperor draw for the front wall, and then I like just completely fumbled against Bo-Katan in the back. She was insane this season for
she's tough
defensively.
Yeah,
but yeah, like I probably did Leia wrong versus her, but I got crushed with Leia. I came extremely close with JML and lost, and it's just like I thought I saved a lot for the back, and it wasn't good then. So it was a season of close calls for me.
Mm-hmm. What did you face BK? Did you face New Bow, or whatever you want to call her? Like every match, or just a few people set her, or?
I didn't. I mean, pretty much everyone had her. It was several set her. I only had a problem the one time because I used to see like because I used to see on the front wall, but like I think I may have faced her on defense 3 or 4 times.
Okay. It was for me, it was the first week nobody placed her on defense, and then the second and third week everybody placed her on defense. But in a way that worked out great because I always kept C for her just to sort of, I don't know, I think that was the only safe-ish, reliable counter. I mean, unless you wanted to use even Bane, I guess, didn't work very well now because of her instant.
Oh yeah, I think Bane was terrible. Yeah, like it was all like there was all kinds of like specific. You gotta save this squad for this person. You gotta save this for that. There was a lot of those.
Yeah, my season was actually pretty good though. I think I went 7-2 and almost 8-1. I found it I don't know. For me, half of my opponents at least were going all in on defense. And that is like the perfect. I love heavy defensive players because I always save a strong offense. And there's so many wonky defensive teams, like you were saying this season, that inevitably people against my defense would drop 1 or 2. Like, not because they're great, but there's just a lot of good non-GL teams. So it was I really love this season. It was an interesting one. How was yours, Tass?
I had a great one. I went 8-1. My only loss was to Aesop.
One of the only people that can do that in the whole game, by the way.
What's that?
Go 8-1. People can't do that. Like it's just because you're like the very top that you can actually manage. That.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like fully 4 of those matches were against the Erodium account. So yeah, I'm not saying I beat the brakes off it or anything, but yeah,
I'm just jealous.
You know what? I was thinking now, actually getting to high ranks in Kyber 1 has the best possible reward, fighting accounts that you can fight 1 or 2 battles and win. Like you get a day off, you get free rewards, your rating goes up. It's very, I don't know, it's almost like the best possible reward you can get.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have to face those accounts though, because those would be horrible videos. Just like, all right, okay, I got this guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. It reminds me a little bit of the old GAC we used to have, where fully half of the content creator videos on GAC were boring because they'd be matched up with somebody who doesn't attack, has like no defensive teams.
The people that were all their whole roster was gear 13 flat, and then they had really low GP.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Vancele, you're back to the game now.
Yeah.
Did you play GAC at all this last season? Or
I did. So this season was rough, just because didn't have Bane, didn't have Bo, didn't have any set 13 Datacrons, and I would say the biggest detriment was just not having the knowledge of what the hell's going on in the game. So I think I stopped reading kits when Keller and Beck came out.
Oh wow, yeah, that's
so I was back. I'm like, man, walls of text. We'll just throw out stuff at it and see what works. But the season before I went 9-0. That was kind of a nice like welcome back present, because I took like a whole season or two off, and then I was like, I went from K1 to K3, and I was like, oh, cool, 9-0. That's a nice chunk of crystals there. But yeah, this season I went 4-5. I didn't come across that many bows. I mean, I'm like sitting on the fence at K1, K2. Obviously, never saw any Banes because people just use them on offense. Nothing really stood out for me this season, other than I got a lot of ship holds. So since I've last been on the podcast, I R9 my Bad Batch, and my Marauder is punching a little bit harder than it should.
Wow.
So there's been a couple times where they don't clear my ships, and the only thing that's standing is Negotiator and only the Marauder. Like just hanging out by itself.
It's pretty nice. I like that one.
Yeah,
that's a nice luxury.
That's funny that you have an R9 Bad Batch, because today I had a roster review video, because there's this guy on my Discord that always says R9 your Bad Batch, R9 your Bad Batch, and he has a couple of them, even though he's like under 8 million. And the literal title of my video is R9 your Bad Batch, but just kidding, don't actually do that. But yeah, his Marauder is insane. Like the health on it is.
So the funny thing with the Marauder is, if you R9 all the crew members on it, and you have an R8 Plo, the Marauder goes first and then Plo. So like Marauder can take a turn going first, and then Plo can TM boost it, and then it's getting another turn even quicker.
Wow. Awesome.
Which is kind of interesting. I didn't know the speeds were that close on those two ships.
Yeah. That's interesting, actually. That's one of the things I found fascinating this season in particular. A little bit last season, but also this season. I would say, from what I saw, this is not just my feeling. I watched a decent amount of GAC videos this past season, but I have never seen a more diverse fleet meta than it feels like we have right now. People are placing all sorts of stuff, at least from what I'm seeing in, let's say, Kyber 1. I've seen all 3 of the GL ships on defense. I've seen none of the GL ships on defense. I see a mix sometimes, just the Executor 3 attacker. And it seems like no matter what you place, you can always clear the opponent's 3, no matter what they are. Just really, it's sort of a question of banners.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get unlucky against Executor, I guess, and maybe be stuck not being able to clear that. But
that reminds me, the one thing I did play. Sorry, the one I remember. I don't know if this is meta, because like I said, I've been just out of the picture. But I saw people in my fleet charter doing this, and I thought this was a strategy to climb. So I just started doing it in GAC, and I'm like, okay, maybe it'll give me a hold. I started placing as a 3rd reinforcement for my Leviathan fleet, the Millennium Falcon.
I haven't seen that actually myself.
People in my fleet shard were doing it, and I was like, I thought it was just meta, so I was like, all right, I'll plug that in, and it hard counters Thrawn. Like, basically what happens is the first 2 reinforcements are, your fighter or your Doritos fighter, your 2 Sith, and then the Falcon comes out and it just kicks everyone's ass. It's really funny. It will get a fail, and then what you have left is like Leviathan, the Millennium Falcon, and then like 1 random Sith ship maybe. But it gets you that hold every single time, because it just, once the Falcon comes out, it just destroys anything called Empire.
Yeah,
but then you lose profundity viability. But again, we have so many, like you said, we have so many answers in fleet right now where it's like, I'm okay with using profundity without Falcon on like a lesser fleet. You can still win with it.
Yeah, and you can just, if you just have Leviathan as your GL ship on defense, you can still keep 1-shot options for any other any other team. That's very interesting.
To me, I mean, I said for the longest time I said Leviathan is like you know, it's a defensive fleet, but like it's kind of like it's like game theory or something. I don't know if it's Prisoner's Dilemma or something else, because it's like as long as you bring your Leviathan, you're not scared of a Leviathan, especially with that Mark 6 starting lineup. Like you don't really care about R9 Assassin, and then if they just set like Dorito, you can just use your R5 Assassin. I have an R5 Assassin. But then, like with the Mark 6, I resisted it at first, but then I was like, I think I had one loss, and then I was like, all right, never mind. I'm doing Mark 6 starting lineup, and it's pretty nice.
Yeah. I still like putting my Leviathan on defense just because, I mean, either somebody else is going to use theirs against mine, so okay, then theirs is not on defense, or they're going to range between like 68 and 73 banners most of the time, which, crazy as it may sound, like I'm happy if somebody gets a 73 that compared to a 75 or a 76 or what people do these days. Well, that's interesting. What are you doing with fleets, Tass? Like, did you find anything weird this season, or same everybody? We can't hear you.
Well, I only fought one triple meta all season, I think, one or two. And just the way that I kept myself protected for the majority of the season was having Profundity, Leviathan, and Chimera for offense. So it, Executor, and then depending on what my opponent's preference was, if I saw that you like to do Negotiator versus Executor, then I had Houndstooth starting.
All right.
Otherwise, it was triple attacker, and then it was Malevolence with Vulture only reinforcement, and then Negotiator with Marauder, Y-Wing, JK. And yeah, only Plo and Ahsoka as reinforcements for that.
Yeah, I have the same offensive playbook. Those three.
It's impossible to be caught without the solution to clear fleet with that. So that was the way to go, because that's still the way to play, right? It's like plan to not drop anything, and if something drops, it's like maybe you have one or two drops on the whole board, and hopefully he'll do no better, kind of a thing. But that's where it is. So okay, fine.
Yeah, it's an interesting meta. It's almost shifting a little bit to territory wars. I know some people tasked. I know you can't talk about stuff as much, but it's really, it's very interesting. It feels like I would say since Bo-Katan, well, maybe Bane, but sort of Bo-Katan and Bane, there is no more defense in territory. I mean, of course there's defense, but it's the same as GAC now, in such that it's almost impossible to make a board that will hold any of the zones unless your opponent is, I don't know, just not attacking or they don't take TW seriously.
I really hope they change something with TW soon for that. Like, I was hoping that for like the last Road Ahead, and then there was nothing about it. It's just so stale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Even GAC, I mean, both territory wars really needs a change, but GAC, with the combination of like just being able to kill anything, even with a set 13 or set 14 and 13, which are both like very powerful, 14 especially. But something needs to change because it's getting a little boring, I would say.
The one thing I'll say about TW, because it's like my shtick, is I can't really how to say, I can't really get on your guys' level what you're saying right now, because I haven't been in the competitive TW scene for like 4 months. But being outside of that and being in like guilds that aren't in the gauntlet, or guilds that are like, just barely having 35 people join, kind of gives me a fresh set of eyes on what like TW is like for the majority of the player base. But I do agree with like what you're saying about the defense. There's no defense in TW because it's kind of been like that for a while. I mean, like even before I took my break, it was kind of leading to that. And I feel like with these new super characters and super datacrons, the combination just expedites that process for the rest of the community. Because in some of the TWs that I've been in, the guild I'm in right now, I'll still scout them just by habit, and I'll be like, all right, I don't think they're going to clear us. And then I look at their datacrons and I'm like, oh no, they're going to clear us by a mile and then some, even though we got more GLs than they do, and we're setting a crazy front wall. The power creep on some of these characters that have come out recently, like Bane, Bo-Katan, and their datacrons, it's just kind of like, it's kind of, like I said, it's just expediting that process of like defense doesn't matter anymore.
What was it like
Bane.
when you were? Yeah, Bane is crazy. What was it like for you when you were in some of the lower guilds, like with 35, 40 people joining?
So like I said, I just came back to the scene, but it kind of gave me a lot of ideas, and like I said, it gave me a fresh set of eyes on like just what everyone else is seeing, because TW kind of feels way different when you're there with 35, 40 people joining, and some of the Omicrons I think actually have more value at that lower level than they would at the competitive scene. So like Geos, for example, are like the worst thing you want to see at that level, in my opinion. Like Geos are just the worst. I mean, you will not set Geos at at the competitive level. Like they would get killed by like a million things, right?
We set Geos, my guild.
It's
they're actually
it's good.
They're decent.
But like the Geos will actually be in the front wall for some of these guilds.
Yeah.
And they will still be there 24 hours later. Like they're that big of a problem. So like Keller and Beck's another one too. Like that one is just insanely good at low levels.
So good.
He's good at high levels too. Like that is one of the best TW teams, I think. Period.
Yeah. I actually applied that one. I have 4 TW Omicrons now. The 4th was KB because I just usually do not do them, but he's just so good.
Speaking of TW, I finished all my Inquisitor ones finally, so that's I got the spinning rims on my Inquisitor faction.
Man,
except
like even
Reba,
the leaderships
she doesn't have
for
any.
like the
that's what I mean. All the TW ones,
like Second Sister. You did that?
Well, I did seconds a while. I did seconds a while ago for her ship.
Why?
Her ship is fast. Well, she has a ship.
But that's the only possible one.
If you talk to a NASCAR driver and you ask them, will you pay X amount of money to go one mile?
So are you the NASCAR driver of Inquisitors? Is that what
I guess so? Yeah, I got the spinning rims on mine. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I set it on defense, when I set my Reva lead or whatever, I'm just like, it's like taking a step back and just appreciating a freshly cut lawn. You're just like, man.
So you have
Look at
7
that.
sister?
All of them except Reva.
Except Reva?
Right.
Makes sense.
Because she doesn't have a TW? Dang. So do you set like GI?
No, I still set Reva. I still set Reva in TW, but she doesn't have any Omis. That's what I'm saying. Like hers don't show up when I set in TW. But
interesting.
Crazy.
Very interesting.
Wild.
Yeah, I'm just missing I'm just missing the Jawa one. I don't know if I'm gonna do it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Jawa's kind of got screwed with the crate raid.
Yeah. The Java, I have to say, the Java Omicron, when they had the Datacron as well, was actually pretty.
It's fun.
Pretty decent.
Watch people do it. Yeah. I know a guy that has R9 Jawas and he loved it. I was like, yeah, man, this is your time. Enjoy it.
Yeah. But it's crazy to think that now, going back to the Geos, I think Geos, even at like the Gauntlet level, Geos are a great team.
Yes.
I mean, not the best, but if you mod them well, they get good speed with the Omicron and the Datacron.
Yeah, and you pair them with the right stats, they're just a pain.
Yeah. It's crazy that we're here in 2024 and Geos are back in the meta. I'm very curious, even in GAC, this 5v5 season, how they do, because they were not great in 3v3, but I think they're going to be pretty decent in 5v5 with the whole team there to get the little TM train running, and that's some interesting stats.
I recently got GBA on my little account that I started this year. Pretty exciting. Year 10.
Cool.
I didn't realize he didn't need Chirotech. He was like one of the later characters that don't need Chirotech.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think the Chirotechs, if I remember correctly, because I was really salty about it when it happened, No, never mind. That was the new character. I was going to think Fennec Shan because it was Fennec. Fennec came out, and then they had Ben, and Ben was the first one to have like the new Cairo. Never mind. We had Kairos with Fennec.
Yeah, no, like I think
they're trying to help out the special damage characters or something like that.
Yeah, it might have been like Darth Revan or something was the first one. Him and Malik, I think, were like two of the biggest ones. And I thought that the only ones after that came out after them that didn't have Kyrotech were IG-11 and Queel. But there's a few like Groove Karga doesn't need them. He was 2020 or GBA was 2019. So it's a little sporadic until probably 2021 and later. It's like everyone is Cairo.
Everybody.
Staple, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
So talking about Geos and TV a little bit, what are you guys doing now with your spare time from no TB this week?
I didn't play TV anyway.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm just kidding. I did some, but
yeah, I think for me, the first couple of days are nothing, just special mission and deploy. But usually day 3 and 4 and sometimes 5, there'd be some attacking to do. But basically what I'm doing with my extra time is looking a little bit more at the Datacrons that I want to farm, basically to finish out the set. I think I'll probably do a lot of, because I did even some of the 200 refreshes in the first conquest last month. This month I won't do that, but I'll be doing a bunch of, I think, phase 5 farming for the reroll materials, because it's sort of hard, I feel, to get, well, it is hard just because of the number of stats available. If you want to get good stat rolls on the DCs, that takes a bit of time. What are you guys doing for, well, I don't know, Vancele, if you're even doing Datacron farming?
Yeah, for this. So the first round, I pretty much I had like 13 or 14 Datacrons on my list. I think I got all but one. And I got pretty lucky on my stats. Like a lot, I didn't have to do a whole lot of re-rolling. So I think this time around, I'm not going to go as crazy at the refreshes. But my main focus is probably get like another 2 or 3 Datacrons. But mainly, like you said, re-roll mats and just kind of hone in on those stats, like the ones that I farmed from the first round. And then obviously we're gonna have a new set after 5v5, so I'm probably gonna stockpile on some data cache early.
Yeah, that's for sure. How about Sanjita? What's your Datacron farming approach for this season?
Well, first of all, I think this is like the worst luck I've ever had with stat rolls, like high level specifically. It feels like every time I get to level 7 and 8, I get accuracy and crit chance. So like I have somewhere it's like 70% accuracy. It's just
holy moly,
it's a pain. I finally got Trench, but now I'm at like the 80 reroll cost, and his level 6 is the target lock one, not the one that's designed for him.
Riposte.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be stuck with that for a while. I've gotten most of the level 9s I want. I would like Ray for 3v3. Holdo, you can like make her work with other teams in 3v3. But it was kind of hard to get the right abilities the first round. So this round I've gotten like several of those resistance ones where they're all kind of like immortal until they all fall below health. Overall, it's coming together. I feel like I have pretty weak Jedi Cron, so I need to work on those. But luckily, we still have one more season with set 13 because I just love set 13. I mean, most of the time I'm like, do I want this level 6 from Jedi or do I want a bunch of protection up? I'll probably just go with protection up compared with what I have. But my protection rolls aren't really dropping, which is unfortunate for, I guess, 2 teams now because Keller and Becker really cares about it, and then JML really cares about it. So it's a lot of specific needs with stats I just can't get. My stats are trash. But yeah, that's pretty much the state of it.
Yeah, the stats are annoying. What are you doing, Tass, for your Datacron farming? Anything special?
Just tweaks, just the last couple of crons, last 2-3. Like otherwise, it's a really full deck, and enough of them are optimized. I'll keep farming through the 100s every day at Conquest and purchase whatever reroll materials I feel I need. Just looking to pick up some nice stats mostly. That's about it.
Yeah,
because I've got all the needs covered.
I'm very curious what they do with the next Datacron set. I mean, 13 being very good, 14 being great, I think, or very powerful at least. I wonder if they keep that trend and try and make them more OP in some ways, or
I'm already dreading for the Gungan Datacron, so they're looking to be really good right now, and I'm just like, oh boy.
Yes. Yes. It's coming. Accept it.
We still don't even have Jar Jar's kit yet. It's just like, man.
Jar Jar is going to be releasing next week, right? That sort of like time-wise, that fits into the schedule, I think.
Oh, wow, that soon?
I'd imagine it's going to be like a month from now for the 25th anniversary for episode 1.
Yeah, and you'd think
like post May 5th or May 4th, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you would think also like at least
that sort of makes sense.
Would be like Shard Shop purchasable, or not Shard Shop, but you know what I mean, like
I don't think any of them are farmable yet, are they? It's just the snap that's farmable,
you
right?
You can't get they're not on any nodes yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
But do they normally put them on nodes before they release a legendary event? And they release
couple. Sometimes they'll do like half of them.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably 2 more weeks then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
We got
a
Stap on Cantina though, so I feel like I can just, if I need him, I can just rush them and I don't have to farm him. Otherwise,
question about Snap.
Nice.
Are you guys having like really bad luck with the drop rate, or is it just me? Because I'm doing like 40 sims and I'm getting like 1 or 2 shards. And I'm like,
holy crap! No, I haven't tried yet, so I don't know.
All right. I stopped farming. It was that bad. I just stopped farming. I'm like, all right, I'm just going back to Cantina until.
He's GSC only. You know. Why do you care anyway?
I'm gonna need him for TW at some point.
Really?
Do you really think you use him over Droidica?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if he'll be on a Grievous team, but he's a dark side droid. You can always use him in Afra. Maybe.
Does he work with her? Well,
I don't know what he does. I haven't noticed it yet.
All I know about him is he's supposedly just complete and utter garbage outside of his Omicron.
Really?
Maybe his DC.
Yeah, I don't think his DC is even not. I mean, it's okay, but it's not.
I never came across it in 3v3.
That team is gnarly, guys.
Really?
That team, like GG Stap with the Omicron and like B1. It doesn't require B1, but B1's like the easiest and like highest banner way to do it in 3s. But like again, saw Chirrut Bays with the Chirrutcron, all the goods, whatever, the heal over time, level 6, the prod up level 3, doesn't matter. They do not get a turn. They do not get to participate in the fight. Like JMK can't make that Sawcron not take a turn in the whole fight. But the GG Snapcron is just, nah, sit down, stay down.
Jeez.
56, get out of my house.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like not even a turn, man. Like just shut down.
Nice.
That's interesting. You know, yeah, that is good to know. Also, we'll still be here for next 3v3 season, depending on what else comes around.
GG will, but not the
not the Saw.
Yeah,
not the Saw. Not the Chirrut, right?
Really, I felt that Saw was dropping off the last half of this, even the last 2/3 of this season. Like, just Traya being able to kill Saw is such a, in my mind, a big trade, like an easy, good value trade up.
Yeah.
But especially GG, yeah, if you can do GG and Stap.
I mean, we're probably also going to need the stat for the raid, right? I'm assuming.
I don't know. Probably.
Just because it's a new character.
Yeah, I guess it's going to be Gungans and GR.
Well, we're very overdue for Galactic Republic 1 in general, and it just, I mean, I feel like they want to wait for it to line up with Queen Amidala. But has it been since set 1 we had Galactic Republic? Have we had it at all since then?
DC, you mean?
Yeah, Datacron.
I don't know.
I don't think so. No, we have not. It was just that one.
Crazy.
We've had Jedi, Rebel, tons of Scoundrel 2 or 3 times, I feel. But yeah, we have not had Galactic Republic back. But I agree, it makes sense to wait until Padme arrives.
Yeah.
Well, we also got the Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon coming out at some point too. So
That's gonna be cool.
That's true. When do you guys think the new raid is going to get here? Naboo.
It's gonna be a while yet.
I'm gonna say summertime, like
what,
June,
July?
June, July. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't think
that'll
it's
put it
gonna
at
be
what,
in
like-
May.
No, I agree. I think even June might be a bit sooner. I'm expecting they're waiting for the new Padme to be released. I'm sure she'll feature there.
Yeah.
So that's 2 more months or a month and a half, whatever. And then when is 8 months? When was the last raid? Was Scooter raid was what? December or November? I think it was December, right? The first week of December or something. First, second week of December.
Something like that.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Sure.
So 8 months would
Around
be
that
like
time.
July. Yeah. Are you guys excited at all? Interested in the raid, or just not enough information to?
As long as the grass stays still this time, yeah.
If it's gonna be this B1 clearing wave thing, and it's
Yeah.
just I don't know. I don't know. Like all the raids are vehicles for me to get good stuff.
Loot. Yeah.
So I'm gonna do what I have to do, but like,
Yeah, they're
To be
kind
honest-
of like glorified galactic challenges. Really, it's like you got to go for the new thing, do the feats, do the thing to get your the premium currency, GC's Omicrons. It's the gear that you were already earning before. You just have to re-earn it.
Yep.
So I mean, if it's the B1 thing from Conquest, I'm like, okay, cool. I could just auto it and walk away then.
That I would be. I mean, I don't disagree that seems likely, but I actually enjoyed, minus the frequency, I enjoyed the Crate Dragon raid. Like for the first 3-4 months, I genuinely had fun, like figuring out, perfecting the mechanics of the raid. I thought it was interesting. There was enough randomness that you had to think for half the teams.
Yeah. There was a lot of creativity with that raid. I did like that. Like I feel like I kind of got burned with doing the Scout Trooper Omi, and then it's like, oh, you don't really need it. You can just brute force the whole raid. It's like, oh, okay. So I don't think I'm gonna do the next Omi for the next raid
until you sort of like
probably
well,
not, just because like time has shown, like over time, if you're in a guild that's getting the score, then you're eventually just going to need. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, true.
I want to ask you, Vancele, how many Grand Arena Omicrons do you have?
6.
6? That's
I have
it?
6.
Which ones?
Yeah, and I'm beating people that have like 40. It's great. So Zam.
Yeah.
Okay. Star Killer. Okay, so nothing bad yet. Iden for her ship mainly. What are the other ones? Oh, Chrysanthemum. I wish I didn't have that one. I hate his. It's stupid. Who are my other ones? I know I have 6. Don't tell me. I know Krennic's 1. I don't regret that one. That one's awesome.
He has a ship too, right? Isn't he in the?
No, he doesn't have a ship.
Oh, okay, it's Death Trooper that has a ship.
He needs the Imperial Trooper
actually,
tag.
His Omi's actually for Death Trooper. He turns Death Trooper into a killing machine.
I did see that team once on defense in 3v3, and it's pretty decent with the level 9 as well.
I'm gonna have to open up the game. I don't know what my 6th one is, because sometimes I don't even use them.
Is your game name just Vancele and you're in Casual Patrol?
Yep.
I'm taking a look.
All right. I'm trying to think. What is that 6th one? It's bugging me. Must not be important.
Dash.
Oh, Dash. That's right. Dash. Yeah.
Dash is important.
That one's really fun.
That's a good one.
That one's really fun. You can kill a lot of things with that one that you shouldn't be able to.
You got a Gam Guard too.
Yeah, I got a lot of TB ones. I got 6. I have just as many GAC ones as I do TB. I wanted to keep it balanced.
This is fascinating. This is like your Omicrons are like a list of all the ones I look at and never want. except for like
I'm that tab where you're like, show me the ones I don't have, and that's my roster.
I know.
What do you use actually? What do you use the GAM guard? Do you use them on like Java?
Yeah.
For TB. So when you get to like the sector, I think it's sector 9, no, sector 5. There's a nasty debuff that goes out where you just get dots for days, and they're uncleansable. And like the first wave of troopers, you have the box where you can cleanse the dots, but then the second wave, you can't cleanse the dots. So the GAM guard Omi is kind of like almost needed for sector 5 of TB. Haven't been to sector 6 yet. I don't know if we'll ever get there. But I imagine it'll probably help there as well. It would just be nice if CG would add incentives to progress further.
I agree with that.
Like dropping another character, maybe, or ship.
Or maybe adding a new zone, that we could check out. Oh wait, that's why we don't have.
Oh yeah,
TV
that's why TV is broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I don't mind the new zones. I think it's really cool how they structured this TV that they can add planets to it over time. Definitely. I'm just like, what's with the lack of characters? Riva's been out for well over a year. And it would be nice to see a character go further so people can actually try and progress to like, put a character like in Sector 5.
That would be awesome, yeah.
Or Sector 4, like, give us that chase feeling. Like, remember when what was it, like when Geo dropped, it was like all the top guilds were getting like Cam and Watt, and it was like that was the excitement, the chase. It's like we don't have that anymore. Everybody has Riva. People have Riva before they get GI now. It's like, what's up with that?
Yeah, mooching.
True.
Yeah, I think actually that's the same type of feeling I get with TW and GAC now. Like, it's nice to perform well and to get the rewards, but do you really care if you're number 1 or number 157 or 285? I mean, there's some crystal difference in your end of season rewards, but that's basically it. As long as you're having your 5-6 win seasons, you get the crystals for winning a match or the rewards for winning TW. But like, you have pride and accomplishment, but nothing really else to strive for, which I think is a bit of a shame.
I play for style points. That's about it.
Well, with 6 GAC Omis, you definitely are doing that. Are you gonna?
I've been looking at Vancele's Omicron profile, and this statistically is very shocking to me. He has 53 total Omicrons, and I have overlap with only 7 of them. And I don't know how many I have. Yeah, like he has 46 that I don't have.
We're playing 2 different games.
Yeah.
53. There's that many TW Omicrons.
He's got a lot of TB.
There's a lot. Oh, there's a lot of triple character TB Omis.
Yeah, he's got a lot of the TB, like all the TW you said, and then like the 6 GAC.
And then the Inquisitors, there's like 8 or 7 or something like that for TW.
Mm-hmm.
Well, check out Tassinex and my accounts too, Sanjita, if you're up there.
All right, I'll try.
Just for like number of Omicrons, I'm curious because I know I have a lot.
I have 39 total.
I'm not sure. I would guess probably 90, 80.
Close to 100 yet?
I'm doing some very low tech statistics. I'm just counting the ones on the profile. So I have 39. I have significantly fewer overall as well.
Yeah, I don't know how many I have, but
I'm pretty sure you have a lot because you slapped on Cal and you're like, it just lets me auto. I don't care.
I did put all 3 on Cal. That is true.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna count yours now, but there's a very large amount of triple Omicron characters. So.
Let's see. Where is it on my profile? Omicron.
Well, you have 13 characters that have all 3 Omicrons, so there's 39 just from those.
Oh yeah, I have actually. I'm looking. I have 90 and I'm missing 21 of them. So there's there's more than 100.
Wow.
TAS is probably the same or even a bit more. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah,
You have so
I'm on
many
GG.
Omicrons. My gosh.
Well, I had like 5 or 6 that I could apply as well. I just don't have.
That's awesome.
I love Omicrons. That's the one thing I would say that I haven't bought They had those super expensive packs a while back. I didn't buy those.
That's the. I mean, that's what this game like doesn't have as much anymore. I mean, it still does, but not to a certain extent. Is like giving your roster like personality. I feel like having that exclusivity, because I feel like some of these GAC Omicrons, like I don't want to harp on them or anything, but like some of the older ones, it just feels like you're getting the rest. Well, not that they die out, but it just feels like by giving it to them, you're just getting the rest of their kit that everyone is already used to. So it's almost like a premium tax to unlock the full kit of a character now.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I mean, some characters that have TW Omicrons are amazing already because they know most people care more about GAC, so they have to make them like compelling in GAC, and then the TW is more like extra. Like Dark Trooper Moff Gideon is just an insane character.
Yeah, that would be way too broken in GAC, in my opinion. Or the TB ones. The TB ones are the most insane ones. Like those ones are just like
they make a whole team amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the GAC ones, I don't know.
Tassinix has 87
curious to do the GG one now. Okay.
So you both have more than double what I have. But yeah, Ken, you have over 50 more than I do. Must be
Who's
nice.
going to be the phalanx?
I'm sure.
Oh yeah, Galactic Challenge.
No.
The only reason people will apply that is if there's a feat that says win with the Phalanx Omicron, like how they used to, like how they said win with Beskar Mando, like the week after he came out. Like that's the only reason people would apply it. Yeah. But what the heck?
To be honest, I won't know until they start releasing some Galactic Challenges now post Phalanx, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is one of the best value Omicrons or even like character investments for new players. If that allows them to beat or like to gold box Galactic Challenges,
the early
reward different factions.
Especially if it's like the Mandalorians, because remember when Mandalorians came out, it was, and Inquisitors too.
Yeah,
it was like Inquisitors and Mandalorians for like 10 GCs in a row.
But even if it's not a Gungan thing, if that allows you to gold box just 80% of GCs, you get the Omicrons. Like most small accounts cannot do that.
And you bring up a really good point, because I've talked to a lot of people in the past where they're like asking me for Omicron opinions. Like they're like, hey, I can apply 8 Omicrons right now, but I'm so low and I have all these Gear 11, Gear 12 characters. I feel bad applying them. Do I want to wait till I relic? And I just tell them like, wait till you get like Boba Fett, Sina Jango. Wait till you get Vancele. Wait till you get these conquest characters that are going to take you years to accumulate. But you're right. Like for newer players, like that might be like a value saver early on.
And if you think of players in general who are going to want Jar Jar and the Gungans, newer players, I would imagine, are going to be the majority of those. Like it appeals to people who are just starting out because they're such an iconic.
Sure.
Wait, what?
True.
Wait, I don't.
I think. Well, if you think about what are fun characters, you see a lot of people with Jawas. Everybody sort of finds Jawas cute. But like once they may build a Jawa or two and then realize they're absolute crap in the game and not do anything further. People like Darth Vader. You remember the amount of people that would have farmhand Luke at the early game because they like Luke?
Farmhand. Yeah.
Hey, I actually have both Omicrons on.
I know. I mean, it's farm boy. But farmhand is a funny synonym.
Yeah, farmhand. I guess
I mean, it's a silly name, like both
bit.
ways. It's like, I don't know. I feel like it's just deliberately poking fun at Luke for his lowly state in the galaxy. It's a funny name.
I'm still waiting for my TW or for the TW officers to realize that he's going to be amazing in a Leia team, and to ask him to be put there. But it hasn't happened yet, probably because
Nope.
no one else has the Omicron.
That has like commented on my videos where I talk about Omicron, saying like Luke is so good with Leia, like Farm Boy Luke, you're wrong. Like, okay.
I've been tasked with finding that, by the way, by a lot of people. I know Arsenal has been like, "Hey, when are you gonna make Luke good on the Leia team? Because you made that video and we all applied the Omi." I'm like, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
He's really good with Sana, though. He's really good with Sana. Like, you double up on the Omis and TW, like Luke ramps like faster than most characters should. It's pretty wild.
Well, come back to the game and make some farm boy Luke videos.
I would love to take him to 9, but I gotta take other characters like GL's to 9 apparently, and I'm like, all right, well.
Yeah, that's boring. Aren't you going to put all the guns or something to 9? What's your?
I don't know what my next 9 project is. I mean, I just did Bad Batch, which I really can't wait to test what they can do in 5s, because I got my own Omega cranked to like 11.5K right now.
Dang.
And
nice.
I never actually thoroughly read her kit before, but I'm like, she's kind of designed to be in longer fights other than just like wiping out a Qui-Gon Omi. Like, she can ramp indefinitely. It just takes time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that the goal is mostly, I don't know if it worked out necessarily, but for the previous TB we were doing, the Reek, was it the Reek? What were we fighting with the 501st?
Oh yeah, Reek on Geonosis, for the camp sharks.
Yeah. I think that's why didn't they give, there's a TB Omicron for that as well, right?
Yeah, she has one. It scales to R10, which we still haven't gotten yet.
Yeah, like what? Speaking of that, like when do you guys think that'll happen? Because like R9 has been not that popular. Like it's way less. People are way less driven to it than even R8, but it's less so. But I'm still, nevertheless, so surprised that it has been all these years since we got another like stat level progression. It's kind of crazy.
I'm pretty sure it's coming with the Naboo raid. That's my opinion.
Think
Something
so.
is happening. Yeah, 99%. Oh, I say that now and I'll be wrong, but I really think it's going to be with Naboo. Something will be with Naboo. It's not just going to be raid for gear.
There was a data mine like 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, because it was just such a long time ago. But it had like what was called the skeleton key, and that's presumably R10, and it also had new signal data, like two or three different colors of signal data in the data mine, and it was all under a relic file. So back then, people were speculating R10 maybe put in GAC, and that'll force players to care about TW more. It's like, okay, you have to be good in TW, get your R9s, and then you're already good in GAC, so you're loaded with R10s, and that's going to force people to care about both game modes. Obviously, we haven't gotten R10 yet, but I could see it coming in the new Naboo raid. But if they did that, I would expect it to be in every raid going forward, because the new Naboo raid's only here for what they say, like 8 months.
No, I think they said it'll be well, it's not going to be 6 months yet. Maybe it'll be 9 to 12 months or something like that.
Yeah.
They did the Naboo raid's going to be longer, because I know the current raid 8 months was a shift.
Yeah, they said they're going to be going. It's going to be sort of one a year is going to be their approximate timeline.
Yeah,
because they got really bad feedback on this raid being, well, the first raid being what, 6.5, 7 months or something, and then this one's a bit longer at 8, and between 9 and 12 is their sort of plan for that, which I think makes sense. It's a fair amount of time.
This is a question I always ask people when we're talking about R10. What do you think R10 is going to boost? Do you think it's going to be a flat bump like every other relic level exception of 8? Or do you think it's going to course correct attackers, support, or a specific grouping of characters? Or, like I said, just a flat bump for everybody?
I think it's just going to be a significant bump.
Yeah.
Like a significant stat bump. Because if it's anything else, it could be game breaking.
At that point, yeah.
I feel the same. If the next power boost or power bump is R10, I would be equally as happy / unsurprised if it was a new mod tier, 7 dot mods or something like that, because that's sort of also equally useful across all characters.
Sungji, I want to get your opinion. So I was asking them for R10, do you think it's going to be a normal, like evenly scaled bump for all characters, or do you think it's going to course correct like R9 did, where it's like it's going to focus on a tank, support, or attacker?
I don't know. I mean, I have no means of knowing where they'd be leaning towards that, but I would want it to be even. I don't like where the tanks, like the protection is a weird stat in and of itself, because it's the arbitrary stat, because they go in and pick for each gear level how much extra protection you get until gear 13. It's a made up number. It's not reliant on gear levels or anything. And then in R9, oh, and like tanks get protection as mastery, but then in R9 it's like 20,000 for tanks, and what is it, 6,000 for support? I don't know the exact ones, and then not much for attackers. I hated that, because it's like I would probably R9 more characters if it weren't like that. Like as it is now, it's like, why would I gun for this on anyone other than a tank? So I would prefer it be even.
All right, guys, as we're getting close to our hour mark here, the last question or topic here is, what are you guys doing, if you're doing anything that you'd like to share, to prepare for this next season of GAC? Any teams you're working on, or we already covered Datacrons, any mod changes, anything you got in your back pocket?
Lots of mod changes for next 3v3.
Yeah. It's a ways away.
From you go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No,
I
you.
was just gonna. Oh, well, thank you. I was gonna say, for 5v5 on like my main account, Kyber 1, it's just gonna be another kind of, not boring, but like it's like, I don't know. I'll just like figure out when I get there. But this will be my first Grand Arena for the little account. I hit level 85 recently, and I need 6 total teams, 3 offense, 3 defense, and just trying to get ready for that. So that's gonna be fun. I have 2 relic characters, huh?
Oh wow!
It's a wee little baby.
Yeah, I've got a R3 Jaina Anakin, and it's amazing. My squad arena team right now is Palp Lead, Vader, Jaina Anakin, Geobrute Alpha, and Mace. It's brilliant. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, that account's gonna be kind of fun for me. Although I feel like at least half the GSCs will just be like, oh, they're huge. I can't do anything. All right, see you next time. Oh, this player just hit level 85 because they only bought hyperdrive and they don't have lightspeed yet. Okay, I could beat you. I feel like that's what it'll be like.
Fair.
I think for myself, I'm very curious to see what I can do with Sith, with the taunt ignore level 6. I think there's a lot of interesting potential there for Malgus, like already pretty much an offensive team now that JKC is in the game. But with taunt ignore, you have so much more flexibility. Like you can't really be debuffed, stunned, ability blocked. You can ignore taunt and go for whoever you want with your big hit. I'm really curious what I can do with that squad, especially with being able to like boost up your health so much with set 14.
And that's like that one also has like the amplify agony thing, right? Yeah, that one should be fun.
Yeah, exactly. So
for me, my biggest thing is I got to read all the new kits and grasp that knowledge. And then I'm actually going to review some of my older footage, because like there's been like the last season or two, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what was I doing? So like taking that break, kind it's like it felt like, when you go on vacation, you don't drive a car for like 2 weeks or something like that, and then like you go that first drive back to work, you're like, this doesn't feel right. You're like, but I know I'm supposed to be doing this. So like there's been a couple of times where I'm like, I've completely forgotten how to use Teams, and I'm just like, these are my teams that I use. These are like my weird teams I use. And I'm like, how does this even work? This doesn't make any sense. What was I doing? So I got to do a lot of review and homework to get back into it.
I feel like that with even just the normal 1 month in between sometimes.
Yeah, right? For 3 to 5s, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Lastly, Tass, anything special, interesting you doing for 5s to get ready?
I mean, just tune-ups, just pushing things a little. Like I'm always farming speed and offense mods, so as good ones pop up, I try to upcycle them into the top 80, stuff like that. So just always pushing for that. Otherwise, the teams are going to be probably pretty similar week 1 that they would be at the end of the last 5 season,
right?
With the exception of probably like 3 or 4 teams that'll change with Sub 14. But I don't want to give away too much in week 1. So it's the preparations are there just in terms of keeping it pushing up the stats. I'm getting my Gungans in order. I've got the first 2 set up.
Okay.
Tarples and Nass. So that's about it, though.
I'm sure you've done plenty of plotting and scheming, though.
That I have, my friend. That I have.
Nicely said. Well, this is the perfect opportunity, Tass. That everybody, where can people find you, Tass, if they want to hear more of
Thank you kindly for asking. Yeah, I stream on twitch.tv/Tassinix. I post my VODs with chapters added onto YouTube. Just search for Tassinix Gaming. Also there, I have some GAC, Swugga focused content. I have like Datacron videos I make with Aesop Rock. We've got one out there for 13 and 14. We'll make one when 15 comes up. And then I have my podcast that's there and also on Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Plotting and Scheming. So that's a week in review GAC format with my buddies, Dagger, TJ, Sasha, Isha. We just cover, what worked, what doesn't, what were our best defenses, what lessons we learned, anything else we think it's worth your time to know. But that's where I'm at. Thank you.
Thank you. Sanjita, where can people find you?
Just on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube only. Ride or Die. Sanjita. Songeta.
Cool. Vancele, are you posting any stuff? Are you going to start again? What's your plan?
Yeah. I just had a video yesterday talking about how I'm back, kind of like recapping on where I've been. But yeah, I'm on YouTube and Twitch. I will be streaming my GACs next week, so that'll be fun to come back. So it's Vancele on Twitch and YouTube, Vancele.
Cool. Welcome back again. And for myself, people can find me at grandarenascience.com and the Grand Arena Science Discord. I have a podcast there as well that I'm sort of back to doing every few days during GAC. Thank you all again for showing up to another council, and good luck with your 5v5 season. I guess we'll chat again in about a month.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
It was good.
Cheers.
Yeah.